Hey everyone, how are we doing? I was like, I hope the video is working. I didn't test the video today. Wearing my Mortal Kombat shirt. Classic video games. How's everyone doing? Who all is here right now? I'm all like, I can't read the screen. I should get new contacts. If you're here, say, hey, Angela, great to see you here. Sorry I couldn't find out my mic. Oh, that's all right. I saw it. I can, I always check the Discord to see, I got Ben over there in the 320 room. So if you want, see, I can actually move people to like away from keyboard rooms. So I was like double checking to make sure people know. Hey, Shreya, great to see you here. Abigail, great to see you. 5C and D. First questions are my phone is just going crazy. My sister starting up her business in Knoxville. Amazing stuff right there. Really proud of my sister. Let's go over here. I need to close out. Let's see. I was helping former student with some data before class today, before office hours. So let me close out of this stuff. Oh, we got so much fun stuff. So, hey, Maria, great to see you here. Let's throw out 100 points. People showing up office hours. Love it. We already got some first questions right here. They're working with data questions. And let's go check that out. Great to see you here, Blake. Blake, ask any questions you got. I'm loading up the first questions for BAS 320. So we're going to do BAS 320 questions, 5C and 5D. And so let me take the note right here. Here's the timestamp, but we have open questions after this, so get those questions in. If you have questions, assignment 1, I always take the timestamps, makes my life so easier. I think I put them in yesterday. I don't know. Everything's a blur. Assignment 1, 5C right here. Let's go check it out. And 7C. Let's go take a look at that. Here we go. Oh, percent and percent. We'll do that next. That's such a great question. That relates to 320 also. And Angeli, I'm just throwing 100 points. Angela, that's such a great question right there. Shreya wants, yeah, it looks like a lot of 7, right? Percent and percent, we'll actually mention that. We'll do 7 next. And so, Angela, you'll get to hear about the percent in percent, which is contained in. And I was actually using that for some 475 code. Percent and percent is a really powerful thing. So what I'm looking at right now is an RMD file. And I want to point this out. You can use this right here to go to one of the questions you're working on. I don't think I've worked these yet. I have not today. So, or on this file. So you can use like a quick table of contents, really helpful for going through things. What we have right here is the data set, the alumni data set. Now, here's what you want to do. If you have everything working properly and your file is knitting and you've gotten to here, click this button. This is the run all chunks above here button. So chunks are where we write our code. This is just a Word document where you can write whatever. You can see the slight difference in shading right here. This is an R chunk, meaning we're doing our code right here. So if I click this, it runs all code above, and we've done it. So I've got a bunch of other things written up there, like drugs and sequence and X and alumni and all this great. So hopefully student sample customized. Yeah. Oh yeah, we were talking about in the Discord. I'm gonna go on a limb and make you a mod, Blake, because we were talking about that. Yeah, that'll be next after 7 with percent and percent, Blake. I want to put up a thing on the side saying what I have next. Wish I had a TA who was like, don't worry, I've got TAs, but I wish I had someone and like, I'll be like, and like appears on the side. I've got ideas. I just need to create them all. So Blake, we'll definitely do that after number 7. So thank you, Blake. Let's throw some more points. Thank you, Blake. And add a column Greek. Okay. So we need to add this column here. And we have right here the alumni data set and add a column Greek. Okay, so let's break these into tasks. Who knows how we code? Say it with me. Who's going to say in the chat? Task 1. How do we code? Who knows? That is initially a copy. Add a column Greek. That is initially a copy of. That's pretty much it right there. Who knows how we code? You're welcome, Blake. So we need to add a column Greek. Okay, that's a task. That's a copy of this thing right here. Now I like to put my chunks right here. I wouldn't destroy your document like I'm destroying it. I'm trying to do like a teaching way of talking about this. And we'll call this chunk 5A starter work or chunk 5 starter work. And then if we want to ever go back to this, we could go to chunk 5 starter work. Oh, got the full thing right. Abigail, great work right there. Abigail, great work. I'll let you leave that in the chat. So adding the column Greek means we need to call the alumni data. Abigail, great work right there. I'll just let you do that right there for the moment. You're fine. Abigail points out we have the alumni data frame. So that's just an Excel spreadsheet right here. Just think of this as an Excel spreadsheet. That's all it is. And then we need to call a new column by doing a $sign. And when we type Greek, nothing's going to appear because it doesn't exist. If I run it, it'll probably say null. That means there's nothing there. So we have to then store into it, because we're going to create this column here by storing into it. And we're going to make a copy of this right here. So we're going to type alumni again, and then we'll do $ and do fraternity sorority. Now here's the biggest thing. Your best friend is the autocomplete. Don't try to type this out. Do you notice how I don't have my words capitalized right now? As soon as I hit enter, it capitalizes it for me. So don't try to type the whole thing. Use autocomplete as much as you can. Makes your life easier. We love autocomplete here. So there we go right there. Hey, good to see you, Brianna. Great to see you, Brianna. More points in the chat. We got a lot of people here. I love it. How many levels does this have? Could we go over assignment 1-4B? Yeah, we got a few things lined up right here. Let me take notes right here. You ready? I'm going to write these down. That's a good idea. Question 7, and talk about percent and percent a lot. And so we're going to talk about percent and percent as we do number 7, and then we're going to do the radio buttons, different inputs. Then we're going to do question 4B. Amazing idea. Write down what people want to hear, and then I'll do it in that order. That's a genius idea. Write things down. I'm making fun of myself because I don't write them down usually. And thank you, John. John, good to see you here. Love the comment on the unicycle. How many levels does it have? So does anyone have a code we could do to look at levels? Anyone got a crazy idea of a code we could do? Now, don't put the whole thing, but what code could we do to look at the levels of something? For 201, you bet. You bet. So let's do some 201. We'll put that on the list. 201, finding IQRs for assignments. Summer, thank you so much. More points in the chat. People are saying levels in the chat right there. And so this kind of relates to 201. So 320, why does this relate to 201? If a variable has levels, and we're doing like alumni, $, Greek is a what variable? And then levels are the answers to this type of variable. So this relates to 201. So if you're here in 201, if you ask someone, what Greek life are you a part of? Then you're asking them a what question, which you can see here, Greek is called a this inside of R. So inside of R, it is called a factor. And factors are these types of variables. So we should know this pretty quickly. This is our practice right here to know that a factor, like in 201, is categorical. John, great answer. So these concepts we learned in 201 carry over here where we're like, oh, that's just a categorical variable. And then the levels are the different answers people could give. So if you look right here, someone could say I'm in UTK zeta tau alpha, sigma phi epsilon. Someone could say I'm in, what's this? Phi gamma delta, phi gamma delta, phi gamma delta. Does that, if you say, imagine you talk to your friend, you say, what fraternity or sorority? And they say, I'm in UTK phi gamma delta. You're like, cool. And they're UTK phi gamma delta, UTK phi gamma delta. And you're like, that's weird. Maybe that'll help us out down here on question D. That's kind of weird, right? Kind of weird. I do want to point out that that doesn't mean there are 3 people with this. If we were to change this code right here to a table, we can see how many people are in each group. Does that make sense? Like, this is how many people reported being in sigma chi. This is how many people reported being in sigma kappa. The table also shows you the different responses. There was one person who said UTK phi gamma delta, UTK phi gamma delta, UTK phi gamma delta. These are just the amount of people in each fraternity sorority. And the levels are the unique answers people gave. Does that make sense? Between the table showing us a table, a frequency table in 201, where levels is showing us just the answers, not how many are in each group. That's not what the thing repeating 3 times means. It means someone gave that as an answer. So these are the answers, and those are the amounts of people in each group. Like, this is how many people responded to each answer. So interestingly enough, we could also just do this. I would not suggest this, but you could get the names on the table right there. Just make sure you understand what you're asking it. You're saying, what are the different answers to this? Not how many people right now, just what are the different answers? So one level is this. That's one response. Some people gave at least. What position is this? Now, what could you do, right? Can anyone just answer this question for me right now? Now, don't use code. Just look at it. Can anyone look at this right now and just answer this? Because you can actually kind of cheat to do it too. Now, I would do it with code, but can you see the answer on the screen? I think. Yeah, you can. So what's the answer to the question on the screen right now? Like, it says one of the levels is this. You got null? You might need to send it to me. Make sure you might not have the data frame loaded in. Make sure you have the alumni data frame loaded in, John. You might need to send it to me. Make sure alumni data frames load in. That might be why you're getting null. That means you tried to create something from something that doesn't exist or something. Or you might have misspelled something. It might be a typo. Does anyone see the answer to one of the levels is UTK Omega Sci-Fi? What position is this? Do you see the answer on the screen? The leading numbers on the side tell you positions. Like everything here is just in a line. All right, awesome. Yeah, John, and message me on Discord or DM me the code on Discord and I can definitely take a look if like it's not working. Let's see. So do you see it on here? It's 40. Great job, Shree, right there. Great work. It is 40. It's right here. So there's a lot of ways to answer this one with code. We're going to do it with code here. Once again, I'm going to insert a code chunk right here. And with the code chunk, we're going to call this 5B or Q5B. Once again, if we ever want to go back to it, we could do that. I guess we should have called this one Q5A. Make sure things knit. There's a lot of errors you could create. You have to have a space right here. If you don't do a space, that's going to break your chunk. Don't do that. So one of the levels is this, and we already know what it is. So how about we do this? Let's just show this right here. Maybe we put a comment or we say paste. It is in, and that'll print when we run it now. But here's the thing. How can I only show position 40? Whenever I type alumni, it only comes up as... Ah, yes. So until you've created it, it won't show up. Try running this right here. So it won't show up as a suggestion until it's created. So here, I'll just drop that in the chat right there. So it won't show up as a suggestion until it's created. If you try to store it into something that does not exist, since you haven't created it, it won't show up yet. So until you create it, these codes down here won't work. You might have tried to run the levels on it, and if you don't have it, it won't show up. So we have to first create it by storing into it and creating that column right there. Great questions, John. And so what could I add to this to only show that one level? What could I add to grab just the position? So use the code right here as a tip to just show that one level. So we're just going to show that one level, and we're going to paste an answer right here to say it's in position 40, or we could just print that too. Print's another way to just make something appear on the screen. It'll do the same thing. But how could we just show the position 40 to be like, well, let's just use a little starter cheat thing to be like, oh yeah, that's how we just go to that position right there. And we say all these things are in a line. You can see that they're in a line right here, just in a vector of information. So how would we go to position 40 right here? Thoughts on that? So there's a good review of how to get just position 40 from this vector we created. So we should practice on like, okay, how do we get to position 40? How do we do that? We'll go on to the next question here in a moment. How do we get to position 40? 20 points on the table right here for position 40. And I don't know as a fine answer. I'm on top chat. Someone might have already answered. No, no one's answered. We'll put this out here for another 30 seconds. So a lot of times, let's show music right here. A lot of times the code will give tips. Like it's trying to tell you positions right here. So I want to just return position 40. Close, Blake and Shreya. Great guesses right there. 50 points. There's a lot of ways. So the easiest way is to just do this. Now, other ways, and we'll show some other ways real briefly here. Don't code everything I code. Don't code everything I code. You could take the name of the level and go to the levels vector and do this. So let's say equals equals. There's trues and falses, and then you could do a which. That's another way right there. That's a great way right there, Blake. Like using the which, you can do that. So we did the equals equals. And so Shri is also saying we could go another way right here. We could also take the levels vector right here and assign this to X. And then now that levels vector is just X. And we could do, whoops, what is it saying? Oh, wait, I put the parentheses in the wrong spot. I think it goes, oh, there we go. So now it's just X. That's a much smaller way. You could do, would it work this way? Check this out. Try to remember the person who asked. To the person who asked about percent and percent. So is... I don't know if it's going to work this way. The levels vector right here Are these elements? No. So is this, yeah, contained in this? No, that's not contained in, that's a pipe. Percent I in percent. So this will run the same thing, and you could just run a which on this. So let's mention briefly here what percent I in percent is. So don't code everything I coded right here. It's just to show you there's so many ways to do this. So to the question about what is percent I in percent, I'm going to talk about that here just briefly on this question. The way percent I in percent is read is contained in, contained in. So let me ask you, don't think too hard on this, is 2 contained in this vector on the right? Is 2 contained over there? Like, do you see 2 contained over here on the right? Yes or no, true or false? Do you see 2 contained over here? Yes, Angelique, great work. We're making Angelique a mod too. You do see it contained over there. So that's the way that question is read, or the computer reads it. Sharia, great work too. Both of you, excellent work. So is 2 contained over here? Is 2 contained over there? Is 10 contained over there? Is 2 contained on the right? Is 10 contained on the right? Is 2 contained on the right? Is 10 contained on the right? Think what the computer will tell me when I run this code now. Is 2 contained on the right? Is 10 contained on the right? Is 2 contained on the right? Is 10 contained on the right? Thoughts on that? Ah, here's just going crazy. True, false. Boom, you've seen it right there. That's the way it works. So it looks at whatever's on the left, and it goes element by element. So it looks at this right here, and then looks over here and says, is this over here? Then it evaluates a true or false for that element. And then it looks at the 10 and evaluates over here for that element. So it goes, the way it works is it goes element by element on the left vector, whatever on the left, and then it says, is this contained over here? Gives a response. Then it moves to the next element. So just tell me, what is the length of this return? What will be the length of this return? So now I'm saying, since I put length on this, I'm asking how many things are being returned right here. So be careful, I'm trying to ask you a tricky question. I'm not asking what is returned. The return is true, false, 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 false. So careful, I counted the falses. So what is the length of the return for the check of contained in? Because I wrapped in a length. So it's more complicated now. Like, you have to think, okay, what does this return? What is the length of that return? So what will this return when I run this code now? That's a good, like, be a good coding night question to just be like, can you tell what this code returns? 5, Blake, great job. Yeah, it's 5. You got it. Because this right here returns, is 2 contained over here true? Is 10 contained over here false? False, false, false. So that's what we get right there. And then it just asks the length. And one thing we could also do is we could find out the percent of items contained over there, and there's 20%. So this is how we can kind of build code and use things like this to do more complicated ideas. We'll go over percent I and percent more. I'll have an example coming up here on the next questions. But percent I and percent is very valuable to see, is something over here also over here, to check like 2 things, like set 1 or vector 1 and vector 2. Does vector 1, the element contained over here in vector 2? Very, very good code right there. How many people went Greek in the data set, and how many people, in other words, how many people do not have a missing value? So what's really great is we get some code right here to show us I believe the missing value. So check this out. We'll put a code chunk, and we'll go Q5C. And so that's a blank like word right there. It's a string. It's a blank word. So if we want to go to people who are like whatever their Greek life is, there's all the responses, and these are actually blanks right here. How could we see if somebody answered that response? Tell me what to join these with. Like, I want to see, here's people's responses. And then I want to see, could we do it? You'd actually have to reverse it, I think, if we did it the other way. So I just want to see if somebody's response is that response over there. That's what I'm going to ask them here. Is somebody's response to what they went Greek life, which is what I've highlighted here, is that actually this response right here? Is that this response? That's what I'm going to say. Here's people telling me I went phi delta theta, all these different responses, bunch of people who didn't go anything. And then I want to see if their response is this response, like if it's logically equal to that response. How could I connect this right here to see if it's logically equals? How could I connect to see if it's logically equals? How could I connect to see if it's logically equals? What do I do to see logical equals? The idea is on the logical equals. Not save it. Good guess right there, Abigail. Good guess. So logical equals. Ah, yes, there you go. You got it. And don't worry. And look at that. Trues and falses are what's in R. You have to know this like this. Trues and falses are what's inside of R. Trues and falses. And I might do the 201 question right after this. So we like to switch topics. Like we do some 320, we do some 201. They're ones and zeros. So what can you do to all these trues right here if you want to see how many? And I gave away question D earlier when I was looking at the vector and kind of giving some hints for what people responded that didn't make sense. So go back to the first. There's zeros and ones. So what could you do to all these zeros and ones? You can wrap your code right here. And Maria sees it right there. Maria writes, sum it up. I want to say a huge thank you. This is excellent. You're doing great. And that's how many people had a value of their Greek life that was a blank space, which means they didn't answer anything. And amazing work. We're going to do a little 201. Then we're going to hop back and do a little 475. And then we're going to jump back and do some 320. Try to like help out all the classes right here. So thank you, 201, 320, and 475 all showing up. We're going to keep working away right here. So let's do some 201. Here we go. Awesome work on question number 5. Hopefully that leads to a deeper understanding. Remember, always swing by, ask those questions, to practice along. Try giving the response. If I give it and you don't know it, just listen in and practice. It's one of those things that you get on a bike. Who gets on a bike and rides it right away? No one. Not me. Not me. We all fall. So you're going to fall. You're going to have trouble. You're going to be like, it doesn't make sense. And then eventually one day, I've had a student told me, he said, one day I woke up and it just all made sense. That was he was just like, one day I just woke up and it was like, all this stuff you were saying in class just made sense. I was like, wow. Stat 201 and 201, finding IQRs. Let's put this right here. Okay. Is 5D just supposed to be a comment? Yeah. You could add a comment right there and explain what you're seeing. Do you see any weirdness? So 5D is not too bad. It's like, what's weird about this? Like, look at it and be like, what? This doesn't make sense. Why does this not make sense? What's weird about this code? You just want to look at it and be like, these responses. So look at what I did with 5A. I was kind of commenting on 5D. And go check out 5. I guess I need to make sure it's in the notes. 5A through C. All right. Cool. And I'm getting 201 loaded up here as we do this. And we're going to do some finding medians and IQRs and all that great stuff for 201. So 201, stay tuned. We're getting your assignment loaded up. Thank you so much, because this is a tough thing. And so once again, we do it however people want to do it. And so we're going to kind of focus in on like the number one ways or the easiest ways to find median and IQRs. So I'm getting a question loaded up. Ooh, I like this question. Okay. So let's do some median IQRs. Just 5D. Yep. Already answered that. Here we go. Let me take the timestamp again to make sure we have a good timestamp on this. Oh, right. 24 minutes. All right. Here we go. Let's do finding IQRs for assignments. So this is probably one of the harder ones to find the IQR on. And I'll say this. On the test, we usually give you jump output. So what you want to be able to do is whenever you have jump output, you want to be able to find the IQR. Who in the chat right now, this is like test practice right now, who in the chat can find the IQR? You're given this on a test, and it says find the IQR. You should just be like that. This is how we usually ask it on a test. So I always like to say, like, this is how we do it on a test. We don't ask you to usually solve IQR by hand. We're going to ask you to find the IQR, and you should know the IQR is the range of the middle 50% of the data. It's a good definition of it. So if you think, okay, I need the percentages, the range of the middle 50%. So you're not doing the range of the full data set. Range is max minus min. You're doing the range of the middle 50%. So if a test question said, what is the IQR? You would just say what to it. If this was the question and it said, what is the IQR, which is the range of the middle 50%, you'd just be like, oh, it's this. As long as you know it, you can be like, oh, it's the distance those two numbers are away. Wow. Points in the chat if you know it. 3, Summer, great work right there. More points in the chat. It's 3. Now, unfortunately, on the homeworks, we can actually utilize technology. And sometimes the questions on the homework are actually more complex on this than I think the test questions are. So let's look at one of these homework questions. And I will say this. If you get this quiz question, it looks super tough. There's a cheat. We're going to look at how to do this by hand, which a lot of these ones can be done by hand. And we'll look at technology. And sometimes if you feel like it counted you wrong, always email me and I can give points back and I can check. One thing I want to note for this question is when we find the IQR and the median, I would suggest to practice for the test, putting the numbers in order. So let's copy these numbers to a clipboard. Okay. So I'll slow down. Summer, if I go too fast, let me know. I'm going to repeat the step. Click right here. Click copy to clipboard. Pause, make sure everyone can see right there. There we go. Boop. And then we're going to hit Control C or Command C. You could bring this over to Excel or to Jump. I'm going to use Jump because we'll use Jump a lot in this class. And I'm not going to run analytics on it. I'm going to really just kind of look at it and show you how I would like write the numbers down on a test. Now, the first thing we want to do is if we're going to find positions in the data set, we're going to go to File, New, Data Table, File, New, Data Table, and then we're going to go to Edit, Paste. There's no column name here, so we're just doing Edit, Paste, and there we go. Now, what do we need to do if we're going to find positions in the data? Number one step when finding things that are position-based in the data is to do what with your data, which it looks like we've achieved this. The number one thing to do if you're finding like the median or the IQR, which we don't really have you find the IQR by hand on the test, we usually have you solve via some jump output. The number one thing to do when finding the median, especially, which because we might have you find that on the test, the number one thing to do when finding the median would be to do what? And the number one thing to do when finding the median would be to do what? Which these numbers are already there. The number one thing to do when finding the median would be, I got some hints right there, to put the numbers in order. So you want to put them in order. A lot of people fail to do that. A lot of people are like, oh, the middle number is this, but oh, it's not in order. So make sure your number's in order. And we have here 22 numbers. Now, this is a lot of numbers. But think about if you divide 22 numbers in half, you'd have this many lower numbers and this many upper numbers. If you just think about dividing 22 in half. If you were to divide 22 in half, you would have this many lower numbers and this many upper numbers. So if you were to cut it in half and say, okay, I got 22 pieces of pizza. You get half and you get half of the pizza. A lot of slices of pizza right here. How many slices of pizza would you have if you say, let's just cut it in half right here. You get 11 each, right? That means this is the lower portion of the data set and that's the upper. The median is actually really easy to see for my example question right here. Do you see the median, Summer? Well, there is no middle value, right? Because there is no middle number. The middle number would be the average of those two. So I got really lucky the way this question turned out because I can find it pretty quickly. And this is how you'd find it on a test. And none of the data sets we use for the homework questions are really super big. So I would suggest doing it this way to practice for the test. Like, let me put them in order. Let me find the middle number. And so we go right here and do this. So what do you think? The middle number would be what right here? Like pretend there's a test. Whole grade rests on this. What is the middle number? And somewhere I want to say 100 points. Thank you for being here for 201. 507, you got it. That's going to be the value right there. We've just found the median of 507. And that's the median right there. Then let's go back. Oh my gosh, my TikTok data. Not mine, but was sent to me. Now let's think of just this data set, which is the lower portion. If I have 11 slices of pizza and I divide it up to two people, how many? So you and I, we have this 11 slices of pizza or 11 donuts or whatever we want, and I divide it between us. You're going to get this many and I'm going to get this many. So with these 11 slices right here, you're going to get this many and I'm going to get this many. Because now we're treating this like it's its own data set, and we're just going to find the middle point of this. And this is a great way to do this question. I'll show you a trick at the end too. So we got 11 slices right here. I got to evenly divide them. We're just going to cut it in half right here. But this is going to have to be a half a slice for us, right? So where would we be if we're going to cut this in half again and go to the middle of this? So all we're trying to do is find the middle. So where would we be at? And then I'll show where that's at. Oh, you might have found, so close. So with 11 slices, we would not have there's no middle number. Does that make sense? If you notice right here, oh, wait, are you right? Wait, I think you are right. Oh my gosh. Let's go 100 points right there. You are correct. If you look, this evenly divides it perfectly. Wow, I was wrong. Don't listen to me. So with this right here, 6 is the middle number. Does that, you've done it perfectly. My brain was just, I was like, let me double check. And I was like, you are correct. Every once in a while I'm wrong. That's why the 100 points right there. So that is the middle number right there. And you can see it very clearly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 below. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 above. And that is the middle number that perfectly slices it in half right there. So that's excellent. So that is the middle number down here. And then we're just going to do the same sort of visualization where we go down here and we go to the top 12 slices to view it. And we would do the same thing. I believe it's right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Does that make sense what I'm doing right there, Summer? Like, I'm just finding the middle number of the top portion of the data, the middle number of the bottom portion, and all the questions can be worked this way by cutting it into halves again and then finding the median of the lower and the median of the upper. Because all we're saying is like, well, let's just look at the top 50% and find the median for it. Probably the best way to find it, like when doing it, because those will always match the answers in Pearson. If you feel like my Pearson counted you off incorrectly for these, please let me know. Like, you're like, I swear I got it correct. I'll give you the points back. So another great reason to watch Off Stars too. You're welcome. 571. And then the last numbers here, which we talked about in class, we showed this, is the highest number, 587. And then the lowest number, 167. Now the IQR, all I have to do, remember, is find the distance between these numbers. And once again, just to show it, when we usually do the IQR on a test, we usually just give you the visualization here and ask you what the IQR is, because we don't really, there's so many ways to find Q1 and Q3 that we're just happy to show you the numbers. So the IQR right here is going to be 571 minus, and that's the distance. Now the mean of the data set is when you add up all the numbers and divide by the total amount. There's 22 observations, so if you want to add them all up, this is where we're going to use jump to help out right here. And we're going to go to analyze, tabulate. Analyze, tabulate. And we're going to take right here and take our data, put it right here. And then we're going to go here and put the mean. Is it right here? There we go. There's the mean. So there's the mean of the data. You can just take your data, put it right there, and take anything you want, put it right here. Sometimes jump, and this is why I'm saying email me if you don't think it counted you correctly. Jump can calculate quantiles differently. So if you do the IQR here, it might actually give you a different value. I'd suggest kind of practicing by hand. Adding up 22 numbers and dividing by 22, it's going to take more time than just clicking and getting the mean this way. So I would suggest just getting the number this way, 57314. One decimal. 473. I said 5? Why am I saying 5 right there? Let me show that again right here. In your data set, go to Analyze and then Tabulate. Analyze, Tabulate. Drag and drop. You can drag it to any spot. You just have to drag it to one of these interactive spots. Probably don't put it there. Drag and drop this over here, and then once you put it over here, take the mean and then overwrite what's in sum, not for the total, or you could just divide that by 22. But it's much easier to just get the mean that way. And then you found the mean of the data set, and it just calculates it for you. But once again, and then we can double check. 473.1, and that's rounded to one decimal, so we're good. Once again, we're going to do the same thing for the standard deviation. Once again, jump makes our life easier. If you still have your tabulate open, just drag standard deviation and then overwrite mean right here, or you could put it below it, and then you go there's, and now you got both answers on the screen. So, or you could overwrite it. Either way's fine. But don't do standard deviation by hand. Don't do that. No question. I will fight if we put solve standard deviation by hand on the test. I'll be like, no, that's a ridiculous question. We're not here to solve math problems. We're here to interpret data and be able to solve these answers and utilize technology. That's what we teach in our class. So 110.4. There we go. I think it was. Determine if the distribution is symmetric or skewed and describe the middle 50%. So this is where we're going to need to open our TikTok data. So we're going to need to visualize it. Now you can actually do a really quick visualization if you just click this button right here. Ooh. What do you think? Symmetric or skewed? So it actually shows you the shape of it. Now be careful. You might think this is right skew. Well, that answers the question, but it's not right skew. And I'll tell you why it's not right skew, because a lot of people say this is right skew. These are the what numbers, Summer? Do you remember our rhyme? Right to the high, left to the... whatever way the tail goes, right to the high, left to the, whatever way the tail goes. A lot of people will look at that and tell me that that is right skew. They'll say, Brian, you taught us that that is right skew. But it is right to the high, left to the low, whatever way the tail goes. So here's our little monster men right here. I'll go away. Right to the high, left to the low, whatever way the tail goes. Sometimes people put their data in such a way that the number line would be reversed if you just drop it down. But our monster man right here, his tail, we'll go grab the monster man's tail right here, and you'll notice that if we were to draw him on this, my screenshot's on the other screen. Very clearly, the monster man's tail is going towards the low numbers. Very common error right there, but as you can see, monster man's tail going towards the low numbers, right to the high, left to the low, whatever way the tail goes. So watch out. It's just that if you were to take and do what a lot of people do by accident and put this down this way, the number line is reversed. Because a lot of people say, oh, it's right skew, because they just do that, but it's actually mirror image. The number line should go from left to right. And so you actually should see it in this format. It's weird. My handwriting has changed now, but it is left skewed because these are the low numbers. Once again, to see it as it actually looks, it looks like this right here, but you can tell his tail is on the low side of the numbers. So watch out, just a very common error with this data set right here to see what looks like just dropping this way would be a right skew. Very common error. Oh, yeah, I know. No, it's that people get to a skew question on test. They're like, right skew. And I'm like, no, low. It's towards the low. It's just, no, right to the high, left to the low, whatever way the tail goes. No, that should be the easy question. That should be the free points. I get sad when I see people miss it. So the distribution is skewed. Oh, wait, because they're, no. Wait, is this saying, what? Distribution is skewed because the mean are not a I didn't read the not. Oh, it works. Can I show that? We talked about showing it during class, right? Dylan, thank you so much. And Adam, thank you so much. Describe the middle 50%. Guess what? What you have right here at the end of this question, one of the reasons I love it, is it actually gives you the answer to those up there, Summer. So you can double check on this question, which seems like a very long, this was a good one to work. It's one of the tougher ones. A Center for Education Statistics. And you can double check your answers here at the end. So you can go down here and get the Q1 and Q3 to double check. So you just want to make sure no matter what that your answers match. Like this is Q1, that is Q3. These answers need to be those answers. Yeah, do it. Yeah, throw it into the Discord. I think it's got enough complicated stuff that if anyone does what you're doing, you have my 100% permission to post that, Dylan, to the Discord. Check answer. Woo, got that 100. It's easy to make a mistake. Excellent work, Summer. Really great review of the topics. So basically did a full review. Let me put here, Center for Education. So we'll put Chapter 2, or Pearson Chapter 2. Pearson Chapter 2, Center for Education, and we'll put IQR help. Awesome stuff right there. Great work, Summer. And we're going to do another topic. We're going to do some questions. We're going to do the radio button inputs. Hey, Brandon, what's up? Yeah, just want to say hi. Some points in the chat. You know how that goes. I appreciate everyone showing up. You're welcome, Summer. Ask more questions if you got it. We appreciate everyone here, and it's in the video for people later. Let's go check it out. This is making my day. It's been a little chill. You bet, Blake. I think, Blake, you're one wondering about those radio buttons, right? So you want different responses with the radio buttons, right? We're going to do all the classes today. Radio buttons, different inputs. Wait, DM, if you... Yeah, I'm pretty sure you just post the whole thing, because I don't think anyone can really copy what you did and be like, I made something that shows a video with us. If they can rework, unwork your app, I guess DM it for now. DM it for now. Like, I want everyone to do their own work, but I want people to get inspired. Maybe we'll, like, full release it, if you're okay with us full releasing it when the assignment's kind of done. But Dylan, I just want to say, I'm throwing 100 points for Dylan, just going above and beyond. Audio office, I guess on your feedback. Oh, Dr. Zreski. Ah! If he said I fell asleep in his class, that's a lie. It's not a lie. No, it's not Dr. Zaretsky. Dr. Z is awesome. I would love to hear those stories. I had a problem of falling asleep in high school. I'll tell the story right here. Full release is going to be fine. Awesome. In high school, I started staying up late playing MMORPGs. And so I'd stay up really late playing MMORPGs and totally wreck my sleep schedule. And with that, I just like would come to class like totally obliterated, totally tired. And so it carried over into college, and then I would just like get sleepy in class. I would just pass out. Not good, not good, not good. So maybe that's why my classes are always so much like high energy and I drink so much coffee. But yeah. Yeah. That was the first thing he said. Yeah. That'd be, I'm not shocked. I am not shocked. Let's go check this out. That's Dr. Zaretsky's awesome. My brother and I have wanted to make a video game for years, but neither of us knew how to code anything that could do a UI. Yeah, dude, Dylan, if you can figure out a way to incorporate time series and a video game into it, you can do that as your final project, Dylan. If you figure out a way to make a time series type video game, just keep doing innovative ideas right here. And we can always be kind of flexible with the final assignment. It needs to show time series stuff. Like it could even like record the data of somebody playing a video game or something. But yeah, keep thinking about things. Keep possibly just ideas. Let's go here and let's do the following. Let's create a shiny snippet. He's the project. Oh, that's awesome. Let's go here and go to library shiny. Okay, so we're getting the shiny library going. And then let's go here to shiny. So a snippet is basically a kind of free code for you. So snippets are huge helps because guess what it does? Boop, we got a shiny layout. It's not a cool shiny layout. It's not a shiny dashboard for those people looking into shiny dashboards. It's a very basic layout that it just kind of, it does what it needs to do. So we have here a fluid page. We have here a server. And so if we run this, here we'll clear our environment just to see if things work. And let's run it. Cool. So we should probably put something where? 2 letters. I should probably put something in the where. Because I want to show everyone if you're worried about coding. Awesome, Dylan. Yep. If you're worried about coding, remember Brian just did shiny and then went to shiny app and then I'm gonna write 3 letters, S-H-I. I'm gonna press down, and then there we go. I got that much code for free. That's what autocomplete does for you. But we don't see anything when we run this, so let's put something where. Let's put something where, Brendan. Where was it? Brendan asking? I think it was, or was it Blake asking? It was Blake asking. Where should we put something now? Like I don't see anything. Let's put something here to see. I don't see anything. This is a shiny app right now. It's got nothing in it. Nothing at all. As my friend Ned Flanders would say, nothing at all. Nothing at all. Let's put something in the UI. Blake, great work right there, Blake. Excellent work. Let's put something in the UI. Now, what I like to do is I like to go to Shiny Widgets Gallery. And you can access it this way. This is calling the library and then calling the function inside the library. We'll want to delete this later, but this is going to open up the Shiny Widgets Gallery for us where we can just kind of take code. Awesome. So you wanted radio buttons, and let's go here to radio buttons. And you want it to display different output depending on what someone clicks. Is that what you're... So I'm going to make sure we do exactly what you want right here. You can even do ones with graphics. So you can put graphics on your radio buttons. I don't know if there's one you can have statuses. You can have if people click it or not. But these are all just the different buttons we can put in here. Check mark boxes. I wish it did multiple. Some of them allow you to do multiple. But you can choose whichever ones you want. And all we have to do this... like, let's just go here to the first basic one. I just think of radio buttons as like the little circles. Well, there's circles down there. As we go right here and we go show code and we grab this. Does that make sense? I'm just taking all the code. So yes, so if they choose a specific parameter, but if they choose B, a specific, yep, let's do that. All right, so we're just grabbing this right here and bloop. There we go. Hey, we got buttons. So we just, literally all we did was copy paste. So just pulp Shiny Widget Gallery, copy paste, good to go. So we don't see anything right now because let's add Shiny Widget Galleries below this. Well, we're going to hashtag this code out. for the moment so it doesn't run every time I run it. What additional things should I put on the fluid page, which means I need another argument inside the fluid page. What I just want to put some text right here, so I should probably do a something output or like a verbatim. What do you think I should do right here? It's a lot to type. I'll maybe go text output. Oh, we don't have the text yet. I haven't rendered the text. So it's going to get mad at me. And let's just say response. Does it get mad? We'll find out. There's no response because why? There's nothing in the where. Yeah, let's do a verbatim. So why am I not getting that response yet? Verbatim. There we go. Why am I not getting this yet? Why is nothing showing up right here? So why is nothing showing up? That's the answer. Like, we're not getting, because this is talking to the where. It's looking for this in the where. We kind of did something out of order here, but it's good to see why, okay, this is looking in the where right now. And it's looking in the output list, hence the capital output right here telling you this is going to the output list. Haven't coded anything in the server. More points, Blake, right there. We haven't coded anything in the server for it to take this, which means we need to create the output $sign response right here, and we need to render this text. So remember, anything you created that is in the server has to be rendered like a kind of it is reactive, a reactive object that then can go up to the UI. So I'm just go right here to paste and say hello. I like to just kind of make something static to begin with, and now we've stored the response into the output list, and we have the ability to see this. Now, the big question you're asking is, if somebody clicks A, it should say this. If somebody clicks B, it should say something else. And if somebody clicks C, it should say this. So what we should probably do is we have right here the different choices people have, A, B, and C. And if you look, what I really love about the Shiny Widgets gallery is they make it very clear what the server is seeing. We're still running the app. When somebody clicks, we're going to go to the radio buttons again. If you go here, it's telling you what the server is understanding. So the server is not seeing A, it's seeing the character A. That's important we see that's in quotes. So we need to make sure that we put character A. So the server right now is hearing A, or C, A, B, C. That's what the server is hearing when it sees this. So let's go right here and say, if, I think this should work. If input $sign, let's call this choice. And we'll call it choice 1 because we might do more things later. I'll call it choice 1. Or you call it radio 1. Ooh. That was weird and bad. I literally just saw my picture go to a black, like the camera. That's scary. Let's hope that doesn't happen again. Haha. Oh, this camera dies. That's very bad. Well, we'll just deal with it. Okay. Okay. Oh, it's mad. It's mad. I might need to use an observe. Do you... Okay, so... let's try what it wants right there. Oh, camera, don't die now. Okay, so I'm going to call this choice 1. Let's create the reactive object choice. That's good. I think this is going to work perfectly now. So we need to go here to reactive. And the reactive object choice is going to have inside of it input $sign choice 1. So now this can be treated as a reactive. Nothing's broken. I also want you to note, Blake, how many times I'm running this right here. Like you notice I run it. If something breaks, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot to do it as a reactive. So this is the reactive choice 1 right here. The reactive choice 1 is now saved, and it's going to rerun my Shiny Widgets gallery. Comment this out. So now that it's reactive, I can say if, and here's the thing, Blake, big question. What should I add on the outside of this right here? So since choice is now a reactive object, and this is a big thing to know, talked about this a lot during class, for 100 points, everyone's going to be very happy right when we get this. Hit that Persona channel. What should we add? You bet Maria will definitely be doing that. I think it's the next on the list. I think that's the next one. So what should we add after this since it's a reactive choice? This is the object, but now so we need the reactive object. So we can't just call choice right here. We have to call what? So we have to call it as a reactive object. And how would we do this? How would we do reactive? How would we make it a reactive object choice? How would we make it a reactive object choice? So if you have a reactive object, after you make it reactive, every time you use it, you have to treat it kind of like a function. So we should put onto it that. This makes it the reactive object, and then we're going to see if it's equal to A. And if it is, we'll put in here, store into, we'll do this. Let me try this way. Output $, response, store into, if it is A, then paste hello. Ooh, don't break on me. Oh my gosh. Let's see what it says. Curly bracket, the parentheses. If choice A, it's mad about something. It's mad about this, right? There's always like one error. Okay. What did it say to me? Operation allowed without a reactive context. That is reactive. So if choice A, Oh, what am I doing? I need to. Is that what it's mad about? I think I spelled render print wrong. Oh, it's so mad. There's always an issue. How was I going to do it the original way? Let me go back. My original way might work better. There we go. If choice A is equal to this, store into the output list, response. If it is equal to this, store into the output list, response, render print. Oh my gosh. Paste hello. Oh my gosh. Error. Operation not allowed without a reactive context. You try to do something on line 57. Operation not allowed without an active reactive context. Try to do something. Saying 57. I hate when the error line. I feel like calling in Adam and being like, Adam, take a look. It's really not liking how I'm taking the choice right here. Is that not the right label? Choice. I'm highlighting my code to make sure. Is choice, if choice is equal to this. So, yeah, I know sometimes they break me a little bit, as you can see right here. Okay. So it's mad about that. Yeah, I mean, I got to help and see if Adam have an issue. There's always an issue with code. There's always an issue. You see, I even have issues right here. We'll take a few more minutes on this. Let's get this fixed up right here. See in about an hour? Oh, definitely. A little over an hour till class, right? So what is going on right here? It really is mad. Let me go cheat and go to Stack Overthrow. Radial buttons, display, different, output, shiny, if. Okay, how to display output based on radial buttons. Okay, here we go. Perhaps you're looking for this. Someone says right here. Okay. Stack Overflow is always your best friend. Trying to throw a background color in. Yes, nice. So if output, I got a render UI going right there. Where's their radial buttons? Answer 1. Radial buttons right here. They're doing preview, str, summary. We're going to steal his code and take a look at it. Steal. Just borrow. I always hate the way it does. Isn't there a copy on top of these things? Let me zoom out. Doop. There we go. I hate it when it does that. I swear there's a copy on those. Okay, let's see. And okay, let's see what code they've created right here. Okay, so these are doing conditional buttons right here. So this should work. So do you see this code right here? So they're loading a CSV file. Does this make sense? What we have right here, we've got something to work off of, and we can double check our code. They've got right here a preview of the file. They've got the structure, and they've got a summary, and it's doing conditional output. So going down here and taking a look, they're going to take the information from this. It's called, right there, there's the name of it. So we're going to go find that to see where they're accessing that and switch. Ooh, that's cool. So this is cool right here. I've never even used switch. So we need to take this right here and do a render UI. I think we'll be good on this. There you see they're doing a verbatim text output. So we're literally going to take this code right here. This is why copying code is so good, and then you got to remember what you copy. So we're going to take this code right here. Boop. And then we're going to call this response. And they're saying right here the answer. So this is being stored. Here's the input. We have input choice 1. And then we have this A, B, C. And then they're creating the verbatim text output. So you have to create these verbatim text outputs. So let's create, that's doing a verbatim text output of the summary object they created. So they created a summary object. And there's where they're doing the render print on that. Oh, so you do this in the, let me double check where it was done right here. Making sure everything's in the right spots. Okay, good. So that is the, whoa. So they're doing that. They're creating that in the server. That's smart. Okay, so they're creating these in the server right here, but then we also need to render this in the server. So this needs to be rendered as an object in the server right here. And so they're creating the output object right here. And so we need to create our output object also. So we need to go up here and go to, we're going to call this response A, response B, and response C. And so output $ response A, render print, and we'll go paste A response. And then we go here, and it's just a copy paste. So there's response B, response C, and B response, C response. Okay. And I think we're good. Cross your fingers. Up, error in Shiny App. Where did I create the error? Are we missing a parentheses or something? It looks like we are. We're missing a parentheses here. Somehow when I copied this code, the output response. Here it is right here. We didn't get all of this. That didn't close. That should be good. That's closing an extra thing. I think that's not needed. Unless I didn't grab all of it. Oh, that's where they're closing their thing. Okay, good. So, but now we don't have ours closed. So now we need to close our server. And that will show the closure on that. Okay. Object. We got something. It doesn't break. It doesn't break. This is good. Good news. It ran. Running is better than not running. So the render print. Oh. And these should be these. Response A. Input choice. Switch. We're getting a lot closer. We have something that runs. Object. It should, are they using a render print right there? So let's go to this, which is a text. And they're using the render print. Output, they're doing the exact same thing we're doing. Let me copy verbatim. They're just doing a little different format of it. And we called ours response A. And we are just going to render print. Here, let's do a summary of empty cars. Saying object. Is it the way I'm displaying it up? I think the issue right now, I think I know what the issue is. I think this, yeah, this is it. It's that. So now in the server, when the server takes this information from this output, my output, UI output, there you go. Blake, what do you think? We did it. We have done it. There you go. Pretty, this is, I haven't used Switch much, so this really helped right here to pull it up, and this is a very good complex way of doing it. We've got here the different things. I've really never done this format before where Stack Overflow is the number one way to figure out how to do things. Just find someone who's asked a similar question or ask questions on there. But right here, we're using what I've never done before. So it's actually kind of creating the UI in the server and then creating those that are then put into the server. It's like making a UI in the server, which is very interesting. So we're rendering the UI in the server, and then we're doing a UI output. So it's already making a UI in the server for us. So the UI is actually making, or the server is actually making a UI right here. So we're taking these elements right here, making a UI in the server, sending that UI from the server up to the UI. Does that make sense? Pretty complicated right there, because now we've kind of gone meta where we create things in the server, then we make a UI in the server, and then that UI we make in the server is sent to the UI. Best way to describe it right there. So in Blake, if you message me, I'll send this to you right here. This is kind of your code, your creation, your question. So I'm gonna hop over here to the Discord. Let me find you, Blake. Here we go. Here's the code. Thank you so much for asking that. Kind of a fun thing right there to do, but if you can't tell, these things take some time, take some practice. I think we're gonna do question 7 here next. There's always a different way to do things, and you're gonna break the code, you're gonna have problems, but creating, yeah, exactly. So just understanding what's going on right here, that each of these are then stored as element, the output A, the output B, the output C, and then we're creating right here a UI that is going to switch based on the inputs. So this is what it switches is going to based on whatever the input choice is, and it's going to give back these responses. So we did it. And then you could just change it to whatever you want. Like if you're thinking other languages, you could have it switch the response. Like literally, watch this. I think I know where you're going with this. Like someone would have to work with this. Watch this. Let's go to text input. I always forget the names of things. Text input. It's just that, right? So text input, input ID, let's call it name, and then label, what is your name? And then do a space, value, we won't put a value in, and then let's go here, run it. And then what is your name? And then you go right here, and then you go down here, and you say something like, this will be called Spanish. And then if is, sure, well, it has to be called Spanish now. And then we go up here and we say, hola. And then we put another argument right here. And then we do input $sign name. Kind of a neat way. And we say, what is your name? And it says, there you go. And then it doesn't. Does that make sense? Is that where you're going with that, Blake? Can you show me where to find the paste stat to home recordings? Where you, the past, yeah. Are you talking about for our class, Zach? That might be where you're going with this, Blake, but there's many different ways you can go with it. But now you could have it do different responses like Ola Brian, but different responses right here based on what we say. Like if I do Darren, it will change to Darren. Oh, I was like, why didn't it change? Are you talking about for class? Are you talking about the online, Zach? For class, make sure to just go to, that's looking for, yeah. So if you saw what I did right here, I just added something right here, the input $sign name, and then I added a text input right there with the labeled names. So that's where it's going to access this information from the input list. And then this is just what we call it. So just understanding how things work is key. Great work. That was a lot of fun. I love doing those things. You got to get used to hitting errors. You're going to hit them all the time. So you have to be like, you know what? It's gonna break. It's gonna break. I'm gonna have problems. Brian has problems all the time too. So let's go here and let's show really quickly that the recordings for any class should be, some of them are in different spots, but usually when I'm teaching only my sections under class playlist. So Zach, I don't click this because it's like a link that only the students have, and I don't want to show the URL, not that someone would take the time to type it in. But if you go to class playlist, that'll have all the recordings. If you can't find it, Zach, let me know and we'll make sure to put you in the right direction. The past few recordings for class, I'm trying to rewatch the jump time thing. Yeah, go to class playlist, and also you can go to the announcements that I send out, and that'll have it. But a class playlist has a list of everything. Just click class playlist, and you will be there. Great question, Zach. Let's throw some points to Zach right there. We're going to do question number 7 right now. Question number 7. Let me close down some stuff. Question number 7. And we are doing some 320. I think the biggest thing you just have to get used to with coding getting stuck. It's going to drive you absolutely crazy at times, but it's worth it. You get practice. Practice makes perfect. Practice makes better. Let's practice right here. I typed subsets on question number 7. So here we go. Question number 7. And we're at the 101. Oh my gosh, I can't type. 106.58. Let's do this. You're welcome, Zach. Any questions you have, let me know. Let's hop in here and talk about question number 7 for 320. Let's do this. So question 7 starts out with some subsetting. And when you subset, you're asking a few questions. There's a lot right here. But let's talk about how to subset. It's better to learn how to do something, not to do it just for one question. So focus on how do we subset. Subset's going to ask a few questions right here. When you subset, you are going to say, what are you subsetting? What are you subsetting? Now, this is not code. I'm just kind of showing what we do. So what are we subsetting? What am I going to subset? Who knows what data frame I'm going to subset here? It says in the question, create a subset called sub of alumni. Okay, so let's just try to do that. Let's just try to create a subset of alum. No conditions yet. Don't write the conditions. Try doing this in those little bits. So create a subset of alumni. So we don't even have alumni over here. Oh no. If you don't have alumni, run all code above. And if you have everything working, it should run and give you alumni. Let's run all chunks above right here. So we're going to create a subset of alumni, right? So that means, what are we subsetting? That's the first argument. Great job, Sharia, right there. 50 points. Thank you so much. There you go. So you just, that's the first step. And then make sure it's capitalized, type 3 letters, and then let it autocomplete, even though it's lowercase up here. It should be uppercase. So you can see it's uppercase. Once again, when you type 3 letters, autocomplete kicks in, and then hit enter to let it do its thing. And you won't make typos that way. It'll autocomplete correctly. So, and I'll even give an extra thing right here. We don't just want to create this. We want to, or run it, we want to store it into an object called sub. So there we are with the creation of the subset. Now what you'll notice is the subset is the same size as the data frame. The data frame alumni, which is just an Excel spreadsheet for all intents and purposes, is the exact same thing as the sub because we do not have any conditions on it. So that means the second argument is conditions. Now, I'm not coding right here. This is just me explaining how to do it. So I could also put this as comments right here, just trying to say, like, this is how we code things. So I need to put a comma. I like to hit enter after my commas. That way I'm telling someone I'm doing different things. If you were wondering, we were doing an app just a moment ago. You'll see oftentimes I like to do a lot of enters to show different things right there and how to do different things that I'm doing to kind of create spaces. So the first condition asks, is we want someone to have a degree grad year, I'm going to double click it, that is between 1992 and 1998, including those years. So that means their degree grad year would be what to 1992? So just put 2 symbols in the chat, hint for the question. Someone's degree grad year, I'm double clicking and copying down here, would be what to 1992? So what would their degree grad year? So it should be between and including those years. Greater than or equal to, you got it. Now, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to run my code. You'll see me run my code a lot. And you saw that from the previous examples we were watching, because I need to see if it works at all times. If I break something and then I don't know what I broke, it's like creating something over a year and never looking at it. You need to see if it runs, and it runs. So we have it running right here. We can see that the code runs and goes down to a smaller subset. Now that we have a smaller subset here, we need to add another condition. To add another condition, I'm going to say a 3-letter word, and I'm going to communicate that to R by saying what? I want the degree grad year to be greater than or equal to 1992. And so I'm going to say a 3-letter word, which we'll be covering this a lot in class today. I'm going to say a 3-letter word that's going to be like, and I'm going to do it as a symbol. So what would I say to it to communicate to it? I want to do another condition. Just think if you say to your friend, well, and yeah, and I'm going to hit enter right here. It's subindents because I'm still inside of the conditions. Like it's still doing conditions because I haven't put a comma. So I'm still doing conditions. That's why it's subindent. It says you're still doing this idea right here. You're still continuing the idea of conditions. And guess what? We're just going to copy paste our code here and drag drop and say less than or equal to. Now be careful. If you did this right here, you're going to get 0 because no, you're just going to get the people with more than 1998. And that's not the answer. We want the people who are less than or equal to 1998, and we want the people who are greater than or equal to 1992. Now, here's the thing. We have another condition, so Shreya, for 20 more points, why not 50? What are we going to put here? Because I have another condition that I want to tell it to do. So I need to tell it another condition, and then I'll hit enter after that. So I have another condition I want to tell it to do. I want to say, we have another condition we need to do. We'll write our next condition right here. We'll be like, there's another condition we should do. What should we put here? And. There you go right there. Yep. Great job, Abigail. We're just going to say, and another condition. This one says they need to have donated to UT. Lifetime gift to UT. That's what that stands for. LTG to UT. Lifetime gift to UT. How much have you given to UT over your lifetime? Ooh, it kind of says it right here. Just code this last part right here for me. I'll just code. Do you see what I've highlighted? I'm just going to put this right here. And then code this last part in code for me. Code that last part. It says the lifetime gift to UT. Just don't worry about the LTG to UT. Just code that last part where it says it needs to be this. There you go. Boop. And it got smaller again. That's what we want to see. We want to see keep getting smaller because this is less and less people because we're kind of substituting for Abigail and Shreya. Great job right there. Excellent work. And now we have one last condition, and this is the tough one. And this is %i in % for those who are practicing that. The best way, I think, to do this is %i in %. So I'm making the screen a little bit wider so we can see how to do this condition. All right, so %i in %, which we'll be talking about today in class, tells you if this on the left is contained over here on the right. So let me ask you, I'm going to talk to you like code. I just want a yes or no. Is 2 over there on the right? Is 2 over there on the right? Is the answer 2 over there on the right? Just tell me yes or no. Like I say, is 2 over here? That's what we're going to ask the computer. That's all we're asking is they're saying, is 2 contained over here? No, that's false. It's false. That's what the computer says. But no was what I was looking for. Great job, Shreya, right there. I was looking for a no because we don't usually say false to people. We say, no, it's not over there. The computer says false. That is a false thing you're telling me. So what if we put a 2, doesn't have to be in order, and now it'll say 2 is contained over there. Does that make sense? So what if we were to look at somebody's, and I'm just doing it right here to show how it works, somebody's majors, so degree, grad, major, where is it? Degree 1 major is what we're looking at. And then we say, is somebody's major statistics? Is somebody's major contained in statistics? Oh. Until I now function. Oh, I did a pipe. All these falses right here. Oh. That means somebody's major, whatever they reported, these are a bunch of majors, whatever this person answered is contained over here. So what did I just find? Just tell me in words. I just found all the what's right now. So I asked, is somebody's major, because a bunch of people told me their majors. So a bunch of people are like, I'm a finance, I'm a this, I'm a marketing, I'm a general business, I'm a management. Is their answer contained over here on the right? So whatever someone answered over here on the left, is that contained over here on the right? I just found all the who whats. So just explain to me, well, you just found all the whats right now, Brian. By saying, Here's the answers for people said for their major. And then is it contained over there in statistics? So I just found all the what's. Like, just think of it as like, what are we finding right now? It's not too complicated. We just found all the what's. We just found all the stats majors. Well, what about if we increase this? Now, you think you could maybe put finance right here. But what's the problem? This is probably not going to run. What do you think I should do? Put those in a what right now? Because I want to check two things. Like, is somebody's major contained over here? So is somebody's major contained over here? What should I probably do to those values? Put them in a what? 6-letter word starts with a V. I should probably put those in a what? Because I have, like, is somebody's major contained over here? But I can't just put two things like this. I probably have to put them in a... you could... There's a way to do it with the ors. I could show that way. Percent and percent is a very powerful thing to learn. You can do it with ors. There is a way. Put it in a vector. And there is a way to do it with ors. Ors is actually... It takes more coding to do it with ors. And there is a way, and there's a common error also. So now I'm asking... Oh, wait. Oh, I didn't put the C. There we go. So now I'm asking, is somebody's major contained over here? And now all we have to do is grab accounting and say, is somebody's major contained over here? And guess what we just did? We found if somebody's major is one of these. Now, it is possible to do it with ors. This is the complicated condition to write. If you write it with ors, you'd have to say, is somebody's major equal to statistics? There we go. And you could just do statistics like that if you want, because you don't need the vector. It's one thing. Is somebody's major equal to statistics? Or is somebody's major... We'll put the things here in a second for copy paste. And here's the thing, though. When you run this, you need to put it into parentheses. This is the two ways to write the condition. I prefer the first way because you can just add things to this vector to see if it is. These will return the same thing, and we can you can check this by running a code right here called identical on these, and we can see if they return identical output. And I'm just wrapping this whole thing right here in an identical, and that should go away. Yep, and these are identical. So you don't have to do all this, but I've just confirmed with code that these return the same output. Does that make sense? It's saying this thing right here is identical to this, which is what we'd want it to say, because I'm confirming that this method here, the second method, which I don't prefer but does work, the second method is identical to the first. I prefer the first method because you can then add things right here and say, I want to find also a business major. And it's a lot easier to add to that vector. Does that make sense, Sharia, right there? Is I can easily add to this. There's less kind of adding on to it. So I prefer this method. But the other way is fine too. It's just preferences. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this. We're already in the alumni data frame. And we're just going to remove all this practice right here. And then we're just going to add another condition by writing here and. Now make sure if you do it the other way, you do have parentheses around it. That's a common error. And we'll just drop this condition right here. And then let's run it and see if the subset goes down to like 768 or something. And it did. So make sure it runs, make sure everything's working, do it in those little bits. A lot of people run to arrows while writing this. Like they try to just write out everything I have on the screen and then they miss a capitalization, they miss something else. Try to run it every time I'm running it here to practice. But now we're going to leave this and go to a new condition, or new argument, I should say, and say selecting columns. So when we go to a new argument, we always put a what. When I go, and so check out right there, when I do a new argument, if I say, let's add another argument to this, we always do a new what, or we always put a new blank. Every time we go to a new argument inside of a function, which is a new set of instructions, like, okay, let's stop doing conditions. Let's start talking about what columns to select. Like, no more conditions talk. We're done talking about conditions. Let's put a what right here to stop talking about conditions. I need to send out that 30-minute warning. So we want to stop talking about conditions now, and we want to start talking about, we want to start talking about what to select. So what should we do to end the conversation on conditions? Be like, that's over. That's done. No more conditions talk. So what should we do to start talking about the columns we're selecting? What should we put in the code? What should we put in the code? Thoughts? In the code, we should put a what? every time we end an argument or we start a new argument, we should put a comma. And you notice it goes back to the original indent. Little lost. Okay, so this right here, don't worry, Sharia, this is all practice. And thank you for saying that. 100 points, Sharia. Thank you so much for saying that. No, that's fine. You see, you're like, oh my gosh. It's just practice. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. It's all right to say you're lost. That helps me, like, and I think when you start, you're like, oh, a comma, new argument, comma. And so you can see the structure down here. This is not code. I'm just showing the structure right here. So we're in the selecting columns. So I'm going to write select. And then I'm going to go here to the columns we want selected. And we're going to highlight these columns. And please notice that when I put them in a vector, they are not the right color. If they are strings, they should be green. If they are strings, they should be green. Those quotes did not work properly. And now they are green, meaning they are strings. Use the color coding to help you identify if your code is not correct. Now they are correct, and when we run this, we should see we only get those columns in the subsets. That only selects those variables. So now our subset only has that information in it. So we only have that information. We're going to remove this starter code, and we just finished that question. So verify that it has this information. Green, exactly. Brianna, you're 2-1, right? You're Brianna. 100 points, Brianna, right there. I love it. Great work. Great work. Practice, practice. And so I'm going to put in here a Q7A. Now, I want you to tell me, well, literally, verify that your subset has 768 rows by running the result of this. Yeah. So we're just going to take this right here and we're just going to run this. And guess what? That's the end. Oh, wait, we have 4. Oh, no. What did I forget? What did I forget? Oh, do you see it? Add another argument. I made an error. We can even do this right here, make it like a little bit nicer. So I made an error right there, and now I have verified. So I actually forgot something. So watch out. Someone's going to forget that and be like, Brian, I did exactly what you did. They stopped the video. So I verified right here that it has, and I'm always afraid of making mistakes while doing these because it's easy to make a mistake. But the verification right here shows it does have the 4 columns, and I had to add in the additional argument to say also select this column. I didn't see it because it was down there when I was selecting the columns. So now we have the 4 columns we want. We can see it visually, and we can also see it by running dimensions, which tells us there's 768 rows and 4 columns. Once again, it's just like an Excel spreadsheet. 768 rows and 4 columns. And what fraction of the alumni of this subset are statistics majors? So we want to go, and so I'm going to ask some small questions here, so get ready. We want to go to our subset, and we want to go to somebody's major. How can I go inside of a subset and get a variable inside of a subset? How could I go inside of a subset, and there's a hint on the screen right in here. How can I go inside of a subset and get somebody's, like, a variable in it? So how would I go inside of a subset and get a variable inside the subset? How would I be like, let me grab out one of those variables? Like, I mean, I got my subset. Maria, you're right on track, and you got it. Well, what do I need to connect the subset and the variable with? You're right on track, Maria. Great work right there. What do I need to connect the subset? Close. Well, it's not going to be used like a function, but look up here at the hints and tricks. So you usually get a little bit of a clue right in here. So how would I then reach inside of this data frame to get a vector? Well, that'll store into, but I just want to get somebody, I just want to see someone's major right now. I'm throwing 100 points. Keep those, you got it. There you go. And then the autocomplete kicks in. Great job, Sheree and Maria right there. So the autocomplete kicks in, and here's everybody's major. How could I then check if it's logically equal to statistics? Put the 2 symbols in the chat to see if it's logically equals. I'll write statistics. But to see if it's logically equal to statistics, what could I do? Equals equals. There we go. There's a stats major right there. How could I then find out the average of this vector? I don't want to do average. Great job. Yep. And then write the full word. Yep. I think we've done it probably. Yep. Just doop, boop. How could I then find the average 4-letter word to find the average of this vector? Like, what's the average amount? Because it's 1s and 0s, so I can just find the blank of this vector. So I highlighted my code. Boom. There you go. That's it. Do it in steps. Be like, run it each time. Be like, Let me look at the vector. Let me see if it's a stats major. Let me then see if the individual, like what percent. You could find out how many by just going here to sum, and there's 35. Then you can find this. There's other ways to do it which are longer, but that's my preferred method for this right here, is just to find the mean of the vector. This is a complicated one, so let's do it. Why not? So good stuff right here. Define a data frame called sort sub. So what do you think we're going to do to define this? What do you think I'm going to do to create this thing? So give me the symbols in the chat again. I just wanted to give 100 points. I want to say a huge thank you for following along and practicing. Hey, Vincent, yes, of course, Vincent, of course. Vincent, I'm throwing you 200 points. You are not interrupting. That's a really kind message for you to tell me. And Vincent, of course I remember you, Vincent. Of course. And I'm so happy to see you here. Of course. You could have just said hi, Brian. I would have said hi, Vincent. Of course. You're always, like, in a good way. Like, I'm so happy to see you. 200 points for Vincent showing up. I have to manually type in those points. So thank you, Vincent, for swinging by. And thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that. You're always welcome here. You're always welcome. We're going to swing by, ask questions, say, hey, what do you like? How can we define this sort sub thing? How can we define this sort sub? You didn't interrupt at all. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I appreciate that. Sometimes at the start of the semester, I see a dip in my subs. It goes, and then we get a rise, then we get a dip. Sometimes one person was like, why am I still sub to this channel? I took this class like 7 years ago. You can see the evolution of this, how it changes over time. How would we store into this? How would we create this thing? So it says define. Sometimes we use different words. I say store into. I say store into. I don't say define. Sure. Create this thing. Make this thing exist. So we have to something into it. You got it, Shreya. Great work. We're gonna store into it. That'll create that thing. Let's just store 5 into it. Cool. It exists now. There it is. So but we didn't do what it wanted. That's not the answer. So we have a thing now. That is the result of sorting sub. Okay, so probably we should use sub to some extent. Okay, cool. Now I've just created a copy of it. Does that make sense? What I'm doing now is now it's up here, but it's not sorted. It's just a copy. So I've just copied it. I've said take sub and store it into sort sub, but we haven't done it. And it says this is the result of sorting sub data frame on lifetime gift to UT, largest in the first row, smallest in the last row. Print to the screen rows 3 through 6 of sort sub. Now that's the easy part. So the easy part right here is to print to the screen rows 3 through 6, but we don't have the answer. Rows 3 through 6 is going to be 3 through 6 of the rows. If you notice, this is not sorted. It should be sorted on their lifetime gift to UT. So we should see if this is proper, a descending order of lifetime. Does it say descending? Largest. Okay, so it's going to be decreasing. So this is a tougher code than you would think. We have to use a function called order right here. Order is going to order things and report to us the order, and then we can use that order to order things. Kind of sounds crazy, right? So if I go to order, what is the order of sub lifetime gift to UT? This is the order of them, and I always find it really confusing, but this is their order. So this is the order of sub of the value of the variables of the values. Like if you look, this is the third. I wish we could find that. This is the 340th, but that is if you were to put them in order. So, and I think we need to go here. Let's go decreasing equals true. So now this is ordered by values of decreasing. So this is ordered by value of decreasing. So what I'm going to do right here to make life easier, and this is the easiest way to think about it, is I'm going to store this into order. That is the order of that variable. And I want to order the rows. This is probably my last question right here. Do you know what should go after sub now? And I'll give you a hint. Can you write the rest of it? Because here's what I need to do. I'm going to tell you it. I need to order the row space in sub by what I created right there. I need to order the row space in sub by what I created. So that's what I'm telling you of what we need. We need to order the row space inside of sub by what we just created. So go to the row space and use what we just created to order the row space of sub. So think about what I'm communicating to you. I'm just keep repeating it, or ask questions if you have them. I need to order the row space of sub. So you need to go to the row space. Great job, Brianna. Thank you so much, Brianna. Excellent work. 100 points. Why not? We're just crazy today. I need to order the row space of sub. Let's see what people think. I need to order the row space of sub. So I need to use that order object I just created, which tells me the order. And then I need to go inside the row space and use the order and then just get all the columns. So I'm going to use the object in the row space order and then 288. Here, I'll just drop it in the chat. Grab it real quick. I'll delete it afterwards. So just make sure your sub's created. So Maria, let me know or Discord me if it's not working at all. So grab that in the chat, Maria. I'll leave it there for like 10 more seconds since you're here. Sometimes I like give people code if they're here and following along. You've been following along great. So a lot of times I'll drop some code. Thank you for telling me about the error. How could we... Hey, what's up, Karen? Karan right there. Hey, Brian, I was watching videos, but I'm not... Oh, that's all right. I have some questions. So yeah, of course. We're ending in about a few minutes, but you're always welcome here. So feel free to swing by. We probably got enough time for at least one more. You want to throw a quick question here? We'll try to get it. Let me know. What thing are you wondering about? Is it Karan? So let me know. Drop the question in the chat. That worked. You're welcome. Great job. Yeah, and put your two codes side by side and try to see if you see where like maybe you didn't have a capitalization, maybe you're missing a comma. There's the smallest errors. You'll be like, oh my gosh. It'll be the smallest thing. And so we want to order the row space. And now let's take a look. We've ordered the row space. Also, you could go to sort sub and you see how it's ordered now. There we go. We've ordered the row space. We've ordered the row space. So it is. Where the original subset was not ordered by it, you can see it's not ordered. You can click it, but it's not stored. I wish there was a way to just say, like, click this and then store what it does. But if you click it, it'll sort it. But this is now a sorted sub right here. So then we can report these things in the order they occur. But Karan, if you have a question, is it Karan or Karan? Let me know and we'll make sure I pronounce it correctly. And drop your question in the chat right here and we can take a look at it. Or ending off. It's assignment 1, 7 question. Yeah, we were just, check it out. You can actually rewind this video live. I'm teaching in 17 minutes, but we were just going over that right here on how to do it. And anytime you want to hop in and ask those questions, let me know. What I do is, we didn't do 4B today, but we were able to do some 201, 320, 474. So what I do, you might have seen this, is I go in and I put the timestamps in the videos. And so at the 106 mark, we started going over question 7 today. We also did question, so let me put assignment 1A here. But I put these in the video later so that way people can come back since I cover a lot of different classes, a lot of different topics. And if you come back to this video later, you know, I could drop it in right now. Let me go to the video. There's that. Office hours, edit video. Why not do it while we're right here? And it's gonna get mad about that percent and percent. It doesn't like symbols. Probably like, you put a symbol in here. I think it's got everything. Timestamps are probably pretty good. But now the timestamps are in the description of the video. I think we've got it. And so let me know if you have questions. I'll be back here later today. When will be your next? Yeah, swing by. So glad to have you here. Throw out some points. You know what? I'm going out on limbs these days. You're a moderator on the channel now too. Going out on limbs, unless we have some rogue mods who start destroying the channel. Great job, Maria. Excellent work today. The next set of office hours, and you can always see when office hours are. If you go to the channel, let me go to, so on the channel, what did someone say? I think it said, don't be afraid to ask questions. You see, we're currently live. We got 4 people watching. So on the channel right here, we have one more set of office hours. This is my time. Awesome. Of course. So this should be 4:30 your time. Things will be on my times right here because I'm in, there's me looking down right there. So just go right here. Anytime you see upcoming live streams right here. Oh, what's up, Kelton? Good to see you here. Yeah, Kelton, awesome work. Good to see you here. More points for Kelton. But you can click right here and this will tell you I'm live in 114 minutes. So swing back by. We'll be doing this stream here and just join in and you can just click any of these streams you see, join in And you see we're currently live, and then there's the next one. And I've been keeping a list of all the office hours we've been doing, trying to make it least to greatest, and I update it each week with the new office hours. But you could go back to like yesterday's office hours and click into any of the links, like where we talk about 320 stuff. So feel free to go to like 320 or whoops. Feel free to go to any of these and jump right into a question where I'm looking down. I'll be like, you can call me KP. Okay, cool. If you like KP, I'll call you KP. Whatever you prefer. Just remind me. I'll probably need to remember a few times. I'll wear like Superman and Mortal Kombat shirts. You're like, call me KP, and I'll be like, okay, KP. I think I remember. I'll try and remember. Awesome. Well, that's got it. Puppet Shark, you have good office hours. He's always having good office hours. He's happy, Puppet Shark. Well, that's got it, everybody. Mewbot's about to appear. Mewbot, go away. I was trying to go over to the music to end office hours. But that's got it. KP, glad to have you here. Jump in with those questions. Anything you're wondering, we can go over code, how to do things, and then you get a video of it. So that way you can watch it and just ask those questions. Be like, I don't understand. What does this do? This isn't working. And then those are the big questions to ask in code. Like, it doesn't work. And then we say, oh, let's fix it. Let's fix it. Things are going to break. It's like designing stuff in engineering class. It's like, don't worry, we're not in engineering class. But it's like, things are going to break. Things are going to have problems. With that, we'll be back here in a little bit. No, we really need the ducky like shark. Oh my gosh, let me write Dr. Galbraith and get those rubber duckies. Ducky, are you saying like the duckies to talk to? I think it'd be excellent tree right there. Awesome work. We'll be back. I'm out of coffee. Bye for now. No more coffee. PTSD right there. No more engineering. Sorry, engineering. I was engineering too. Bye, everybody. We'll be back. Class coming up here in 13 minutes. Time for class, 13 minutes. Watch this. We'll put in the timer. We'll be ahead of the game. How much time I got? It's not showing me my timer. There we go. 12 minutes and 2 seconds. Start timer. There we go. 12 minutes till class. Bye for now, everyone. Bye.